hopefully
What's on the menu?
the ground Got to be on the dot, sorry. Okay, it's quarter, so we can start the meeting. Excuse me. I'd like to welcome everybody to the first Parish Council meeting since July. Everybody's anybody who's been away has had a good summer, a good break. And thankfully the staff have been working hard and see everything. All the groundwork staff and the office staff have been keeping things going while we've been away. So we'll start the meeting. We normally start the first 15 minutes with any questions or contributions from the public. So has anybody got any?
Yes, we do. We are representatives from Heaton Street, where you put the play equipment, or should I say exercise equipment, allegedly, on Dando Way. Having seen the minutes from the last meeting, it seems you've written off all our previous complaints and questions about it. However, there are other problems that are still arising. First, I'd like to raise the point that paying somebody daily to go down to pick up litter is inefficient. Even within an hour tonight, when we were setting off, there was rubbish back on the floor. Secondly, you did say, was it at the meeting or was it at the council meeting, about the bins?
Well, it
was raised that you were going to put some bins down there for that reason.
People said that, if it was an adult gym, it wouldn't actually need a bin because adults would use it responsibly, but it's not an adult gym at all.
It's children's
play. There were
play.
burgers on the floor on
Saturday, I've got photographs for you. There was
ridiculous.
1.5 burgers on the floor. Now that's going to,
And the wrappers.
Precise
and
reaction.
bottles.
That's just going to be a rat problem. It's near to that waste ground at the back of Lower Lane, where it's all overgrown, and you're going to have a rat issue. And we don't want that in our houses, thank you. And then finally, as the Parish Council did see fit to lay a tarmac path to our private street at the gate on Heaton Street, it was done some time back, and now that we've got a lot of youngsters and toddlers, I'll report to the council, if I may, 2 near misses over this summer holiday, where I'm turning my car and kids have run through that gate. Can we please have that gate repaired, if you're going to do this, with a return spring and a latch on it, so that youngsters can't run through when I'm reversing my car. Like I said, I've had 2 near misses where I've nearly taken the kids over.
And I've had the same with 3 bikes, because the kids, teenage kids, don't think that's a road. It's not like a road, is it? It's just like a potholy track. And so they just fly out. I park at the side of our house next to the gym, so I reverse back onto the first bit of land of St Clement's Court to then turn out down the street. And I'm reversed up there, and I'm just about to go forward, and 3 bikes just fly straight out the gate down the middle of our street.
So we've got a serious health and safety issue there.
Because there's just kids everywhere, and it's,
Yeah, because you put the gym equipment and we've got lots of kids.
And lots of noise. But
And we still have the noise issue. I've spent more time away from home this summer holidays than I ever have. just because I just can't use my space.
We're not happy with the resolution of how things have gone. It's been turned around to be, you know,
What we did was
what we
illegal.
said before, we've got everything that you've done is legal, and everything that we're having to live with now, which is just coming home from work and listening to kids screaming while you're just preparing your tea in the kitchen.
We've had kids blasting music out and speakers as well, straight outside.
I avoid going out because I don't want to get into any conflict with them because they throw things, you know, they throw stuff. We've got vehicles parked just the other side of the fence of the gym. But I drew a line, didn't we, when they'd got a wireless speaker and they were banging dance music out. So I went out and said, you know, kids, if you're going to play that, can you go to the park? This isn't technically a park.
It has, you can use these words if you like, it has blighted our lives.
Yeah, it is.
And to be honest, I hold this parish council responsible.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, we've got to accept this. It says you studied it carefully. After we had one meeting here one time, and Martin Roberts was present then, and then we all went away, and then you had one meeting where it was discussed within.
We honour people waiting for this meeting.
Yeah, Andy Sharrett was there. He was there at both meetings. He was the only person that was there at both meetings. Martin Roberts had not been there when that decision that it was resolved was made. And it feels like we've not been heard because when it first began, Gary, that's not present tonight, 'cause he's working nights, God help him.
He's up at 3.
Yeah, he's up at 3. He placed himself on Dando Way, and they had to call the police because he said, you're not putting this here right outside my house, and that was disregarded. And I emailed Parish Council when the work began saying, can we stop this please and have a discussion about what you're doing and what implications this is going to have on us. And we were just not listened to at that point. Yeah, and so and now we're not being listened to. So where were we ever going to get listened to? How are we ever going to get listened to? There's not been any opportunity before it took place. We weren't listened to at the time that we complained when it began, and now we're being told that's it, we've resolved it. But you've not resolved. If you were living next to that, it feels very wrong that people that don't sit on the doorstep of that can just make a decision that that's okay, and that if we've got a problem with it, we've got to report it as either antisocial behaviour or to Wakefield Council for noise pollution.
And that's being done. And there's ice cream vans coming up to give ice creams, which should be coming up a private road. And I just ultimately asked the question, what's the parish council's purpose? Who wanted it? Because it's there, but you know who doesn't want it, and we're here, but that's not listened to. And it's affecting people's lives. And it's just not good enough. And we will continue to come each and every time until something's done about it, because we find it disgusting, totally unsatisfactory, and shouldn't have been put there without consultation in the first place. Yes, you probably, as a body of people, haven't done anything lawfully wrong. Ethically, you are way off the scale. And if you can't see that, I just have...
It's a parish council, you shouldn't be a parish council.
And we'd like some answers to that. Because we were told also, obviously, that the initial idea, and it come from this room, to spread the equipment along Dando Way. But then it all ended up in one place. Now, surely you must have known there was going to be a knock-on effect to that. It needs to have a light.
I mean, we set off tonight from our houses. There were five kids on there tonight when we came to walk down here. No adults training, exercising, 5 kids playing. That's all we've had, kids playing. If you're going to build a play area, be honest about it.
But you wouldn't build a play area right outside someone's house because it wouldn't meet with the requirements of having a buffer zone for noise pollution from a park.
Can we please raise this again with you? You've got the health and safety issues, and our old gripes are still there.
Is that...
In a nutshell, because we don't want to... We're here to keep saying that we have got major issues with it. But we realise that none of the points really are new, other than it's affecting lives, it's continuing to affect lives, it will do.
Yeah.
balls are coming into people's yards, spaces, and the noise is unacceptable, and the litter's there.
I mean, one of the points you made about the paths, the tarmac, that's not a parish council issue. That's Wakefield Council. The tarmac path.
Alright, well, it should never really have been put there anyway,
Well,
because Heaton Street is not actually down as a public
it's not
footpath.
Yeah.
The public footpath takes you another route.
Yeah. So that leads through to Heaton Street. You're talking about the path from the Dando Way
Yeah,
to
to the gates on Heaton Street.
that's been broken for.
It's been broken for a while. I've repaired it in the past and put springs on it
I think
so that it closed.
to my knowledge, I think that gate is Wakefield Council's.
Well, can the parish council...
Fencing. So if you can report that to, I mean, some of these issues, I understand what you're saying and I sympathise with what you're saying, but some of these issues can only be addressed by the people who are responsible for it. So something like that, all we can do is we could get in touch with Wakefield Council and say the gate needs repairing.
That doesn't affect the exercise equipment. That's if the parish council decided on
I'm answering a point that somebody brought up.
Yeah, well, we realise, but that's a very easy point to answer. I'm on about the fact that you made the decision to place it where it was, and we're not absolutely not happy with it. No?
So if I fixed that gate and it didn't open anymore,
So
so if I fixed that gate and it didn't open again, would that be a parish council problem?
no, it's nothing to do with parish council.
Right then.
It's nothing. That's nothing to do with the parish council. That's the point. Was I was trying to work through some of the issues you raised.
Oh, I
One of them was
understand,
the health and safety issue about kids riding the bikes and you not being able to turn your car around and things like that. Well, that's one issue that you could. All these things really need reporting to. If there's antisocial behaviour, it's the police, it's PCSO.
There's not antisocial behaviour though, as such. It's the police don't care less about a few kids swearing. They've got you and everyone else. You know, you and a million other streets in the country. They're not reportable offences, but they're just a massive change to our living conditions. But do you know what I mean? There's a big difference between something being like having your house dumped into a park, because that's what it feels like, and then antisocial or offensive or you know, criminal behaviour. There's a massive chasm between those two things.
Why?
Could I just consult with you a minute?
Yeah.
Sorry. So on the 22nd we have our committee meetings, one being environment, road safety and planning. The public mentioned that some of these things have been reported to the local authorities. We could, through that committee, request to receive the data of the antisocial behaviour or possibly the environmental issues raised, and we could have that from the local authorities, which is in line with the resolution that the council gave last time, to explore it further, and if the stats are there and the reports are there.
We feel
I don't want to make repeated reports.
Sorry, I thought someone said that they had reported.
I've reported a couple of events.
I'm not prepared to report that because I mentioned this at one of the previous meetings. If I make repeated reports of antisocial behaviour on my doorstep, and then I wanted to sell the house because I couldn't take it anymore, and I just think I've had enough of this, I want some peace and quiet back in my life. And then I hadn't declared that, oh, by the way, new homeowners, I've made 20 reports of antisocial behaviour to the police over the last 6 months. If I didn't declare that, I explained that Bob's cousin had problems with his neighbour and I've taken the report.
I was only consulting the chair based on the information that was given.
And that's why I don't want that. You're kind of asking us to shoot ourselves in the foot. We're going to drive crime statistics up, insurance policies, if that's how it works, and we're going to then potentially shoot ourselves in the foot for a potential house sale.
Like I said, it was just based on the information I heard this evening, and my job as to consult our chair.
It feels like a problem that you've caused. We have to jump all these hurdles and make all this representation to various bodies about the peace we once had, and you've taken away from us for us to try and deal with it.
And potentially stitch ourselves up in the process of doing that.
I feel that's totally unfair. And the gentleman, I think he was going to ask me, I was blaming the Parish Council for citing it there. Is that not the case then? Are we dealing with the wrong body of people? That's been cited there by you or by Wakefield District Council?
Well, No, this is a parish. This was a parish council resolution from several years ago, a couple of years ago, to have that exercise equipment on Dando Way.
Yes.
In a road.
It was
In a
sorry.
in a trail though. That was the original agreement, wasn't it? In a trail.
Well, the company, the advice we've had was there were certain issues about putting the exercise equipment in other places because of road safety, proximity to a road.
It was the lay of the land. We were advised that's where it needed to go, and Wakefield Council advised us. So there wasn't much choice in the end decision making. Our choice was that it was exercise equipment that was being installed.
So how was that decision made? From it being a trail, and that's how it was put to the public of Ackworth, even though we never saw that information, and it was going to be in a trail, you told us. How did it switch, and what's the time frame, and what was involved in that process of it changing from a trail to that one congregation site?
The two sites that there are were the ones where we were advised it could go because of issues with the land, with the tree roots, with cabling, with proximity to roads, and things like that.
So who decided that? Was it literally the surveyor went out, said, oh, it can't go in we'll put it here, and then that was okay, and that really kind of unconsidered decision has massively impacted on our lives? Do you know what I mean? What were the processes that decided that it went from a trail to there, and who was involved in that?
Well, the best thing we'd have to look. I can't remember, to be honest. So if you want to write that, send an email or something like that, or contact the office with that question.
And was that a parish council decision then?
What was that part of letters that have already been sent? So there has been letters that have been sent to all residents, and it does detail that. So I can resend that letter.
I don't think it details it though. I think it just said it was decided. It doesn't say how the decision. Because I sent an email initially at the beginning. It had several questions in it because I wanted to know how this whole process had arisen, and it wasn't answered. We all got like a generic email that was just to all of us, but not a particular response to the question.
Plus, if
I'm happy to take that away, Chair, and I'll check it tomorrow and resend it.
Plus, if initially it was going to be in multiple sites along Dando Way, and then it came down to one specific place, somebody should have recognised that it's next to housing, and St Clement's Court, and housing across the way on Barleyfields and back of Low Lane. I mean, how is that not worth a consultation of the people who live in that area? How has that been missed?
I think it was as a
Well,
meeting.
to be honest, all that bit of Dando Way's got houses on it.
There's more there though, where you've actually put it than anywhere else.
Yeah.
No, there is. I'm telling you there is, because I've walked along Dando Way and looked at the side. But what I'm saying is, if it were going to be, so you were impacting on everybody's lives, but then you've gone to a specific point.
But it wouldn't have impacted if it's
Well, like I said,
less so, yeah.
Less so.
I'm going to say, if these concerns can be brought to the amenities meeting, is it 22nd?
22nd of September, it would be the environment,
Environment.
and it would be to request reports on the stats.
Yeah.
That's the
But can you see how frustrating it is for something that wasn't there? We have peace, and then we've got to fight every way along, as if we haven't got enough to do in our own lives about a decision that we weren't consulted on. And that's the...
Well, it's noted, so like I said, we'll do what we can to bring it to the environment.
What I mean is, you say you do what you do what you can, but I'd like to know if the people in this room are actually, anybody is actually with us, supporting us to get a change. I'm looking at blank faces. I'd like to know if people in this room are supporting us or not. Because if you're not supporting us, you're allowing it to happen, and it will continue to happen. So that's my ultimate question.
No.
I think I've got the answer.
Okay. We're running out of time now, so to move on to the main body of the meeting. Okay. So, thanks for that, Rob.
Did you want to go?
Have we got any apologies?
Chair, just the ones that are in the book that have been listed. There is Councillor Roberts, Councillor Andy Sherritt, Councillor Susie Sherritt, and Councillor Moore.
Okay. It's going to be approval for reasons given for
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Can we approve the reasons given for absence? Yeah. So declarations of interest and dispensations. To receive any declaration of interest not already declared under the Council Code of Conduct. Which is registered for disposable pecuniary interest on items on the agenda. Any written ones? No. So, okay, so we'll move on. To receive available reports from the following. So, district councillors, we haven't got any written.
No written reports.
No written reports, and no district councillors here, so there won't be one. To receive reports from the Parish Council representatives on outside bodies. You want to take that first? Yeah, Sharon?
Yeah, we had a meeting with the local community centre on the 13th of August, which we don't normally do during the August holidays, but we decided we needed a bit of a catch-up and a discussion about what was happening with items that we've discussed so many times in the past, the lease, the state of the building, because we're desperate for a plan now to move forward. I'll share with you the gist of the meeting really is that we need the building down, it needs to be demolished, it's unsafe, it's fenced in, it signs on, you know, do not enter, thou shalt be smited, and what have you. So we started looking at, I got in touch with planning, I started looking at demolishing and whatnot. Well, I felt like I just didn't have a brain in my head, because if you've ever been on the planning, trying to find information on planning, it's just out of my remit altogether. I'm not there. That's not in my brain. So anyway, so the plan is that we want to get the building down, get the site clear,